Hello viewers, in the last session we were discussing about the functions of vitamin A along with the sources requirement. We ended with the function of vitamin A. Now we are going to discuss the same with continuation. The main function of vitamin A is in the vision, and hence we are going to discuss how it is going to play an important role in the vision. The vision involves retina, which contains rod cells and cone cells. Rod cells of retina are responsible for vision in dim light, and they contain the visual pigment called as rhodopsin, which is a protein made up of two substances. One is 11-cis retinol and another one is opsin. Rhodopsin is also called as visual purple when the light falls on retina. A series of biochemical changes takes place and rhodopsin is converted to meta-rhodopsin, which is unstable. Subsequently, all trans-retinol dissociates from opsin. So this process of events is going to be shown in the illustration. We are going to observe it. You can see in this illustration, you can see in the top rhodopsin is a protein present in the retina. It is a visual pigment. When the light falls on the retina, the rhodopsin protein, which is made up of 11-cis retinol and opsin, is undergoing photolysis. Photo means light, lysis means breakdown, uh, and it will undergo series of biochemical reactions to form meta-rhodopsin. So meta-rhodopsin, which contains all trans retinol and opsin. Previously, rhodopsin is having 11-cis retinol, whereas meta-rhodopsin is having all trans retinol. Cis and trans are isomerism forms, and this meta-rhodopsin is going to cleave or lyse into two compounds. You can see in the bottom the all trans retinol is one of the product, and in the left side you can see the arrow mark going out showing the release of opsin. The all trans retinol is going to get converted to all trans retinol. So if you see, the all trans retinol is a aldehyde form and it is converted to alcohol form by a enzyme retinol reductase, and this all trans retinol is transported from the eye to the liver, and in the liver it is converted to 11-cis retinol. This 11-cis retinol is also converted to 11-cis retinol aldehyde form. OL is alcohol form, AL is aldehyde form by retinol reductase. The same reaction of all trans retinol which you are seeing in the right side after the cleavage is converted to 11-cis retinol directly by a slow process in the retina, whereas in the liver it is first converted to all trans alcohol retinol and then to 11-cis retinol and then to 11-cis retinol. So it will undergo alcoholic form and then trans to cis form and cis to aldehyde form in the liver along with the retina, whereas it can also directly takes place from all trans aldehyde form of retinol to 11-cis. In the slow process you can see the dotted arrow mark line isomerase slow reaction in the retina. So this is the called as Wald visual cycle, which was discovered by Wald. The opsin that is releasing from the meta-rhodopsin is involved in the release of neurotransmitters, and which is going to send signals of vision to the brain. Hence, this is the process of a visual cycle involving rhodopsin breakdown and then conversion from all trans to cis trans, and also from aldehyde form to alcohol form, and from alcohol form to aldehyde form, and again in the last you can see the opsin combines with 11-cis retinol to form the original compound rhodopsin. So this is a complex event involving a breakdown of rhodopsin and conformational change along with the chemical group change involving the opsin release, which is going to have a nerve signaling of vision to the brain. Next is the deficiency of vitamin A. Since vitamin A is involved in the vision, if vitamin A is less, that means if you take less than the normal requirement, then it causes various complications. And let us discuss what are the deficiency symptoms of vitamin A. One is night blindness, which is also called as nyctalopia. Vitamin A is required for the vision in dim light, so deficiency of vitamin A causes night blindness. Hence, sufficient of vitamin A should be taken, and if vitamin A is less, then supplements should be taken. Children who are taking less vitamin A drops are given to ensure no vision problems. And also in the vitamin A deficiency conditions, vitamin A prophylaxis programs are helpful to avoid the eye related disorders. Next one is xerophthalmia, which is called as dryness of the eye. Keratinization occurs in the cornea and conjunctiva of the eye, causing dryness of these tissues. The dryness of tissues, especially eye, is a serious complication which can cause various type of disorders or discomfort. Dryness of conjunctiva is termed as conjunctival xerosis, which is first clinical sign of vitamin A deficiency. This is the first symptom of vitamin A deficiency. In certain areas of conjunctiva, white triangular patches known as Bitot spot are seen, and dryness of cornea is termed as corneal xerosis. So, once this type of symptom is observed, the sufficient and precaution should be taken, and then vitamin A supplements or diet should be taken to avoid these conditions. Next one is keratomalacia. If it untreated, if xerophthalmia is untreated, result in the corneal ulceration and degeneration, a condition called as keratomalacia, leading to total blindness. So this is the continued symptom of vitamin A deficiency in the moderate condition to severe condition. And then the next is renal failure. So in severe vitamin A deficiency, keratinization occurs in renal tract causing renal failure. So this is the severe condition where it is going to affect the kidneys. Along with the other symptoms of vitamin A deficiency are reproductive failure causing infertility, and then growth retardation where vitamin A is involved in gene RNA DNA involved metabolism, and it is going to affect the growth retardation. Microcytic anemia causing vitamin A is deficiency to iron related problems, since vitamin A is involved in iron transport. If vitamin A is less, iron is transported in less quantity, and hence it causes anemia. Micro means small, cytic means cytoplasm, anemia means less RBCs. So small sized RBCs and also less RBCs in the blood. Next is we are going to discuss the next vitamin called as vitamin D. Vitamin D is also called as sunshine vitamin, since vitamin D is involved in the synthesis with the photolysis or photo effect of sun involving UV radiations. The chemistry, there are two forms of vitamin D, that is vitamin D2, which is called as ergocalciferol, and vitamin D3, which is called as cholecalciferol. Both have equal activity. The vitamin D is helpful in calcium metabolism, and the sources of vitamin D is exogenous sources. Ergocalciferol, that means vitamin D2, is found in plants, and then cholecalciferol, vitamin D3, is obtained from fish liver oil like cod liver and shark liver, shrimps, milk and egg. This is obtained from the diet, hence it is called as, since from the food means exogenous source. Endogenous source means the vitamin D synthesized in the body. Vitamin D3, that is cholecalciferol, obtained from the animal source, can be synthesized from the 7-dehydrocholesterol. So 7-dehydrocholesterol, which is a cholesterol derivative present in the skin, it can be converted to vitamin D3 by the action of UV rays, ultraviolet rays of sunlight. See, air, sunlight containing UV radiations, when it subjected on 7-dehydrocholesterol, you can see in the left side, in the skin which containing this compound, when it's exposed to UV rays of sunlight, it is converted to cholecalciferol, which is called as vitamin D3. Since sunlight is involved, it is called as sunshine vitamin. Similarly, ergosterol is converted to vitamin D2. Provitamin D, the inactive form of vitamin D, that is provitamin D, is 78 cholesterol and ergosterol are called provitamins of vitamin D. These are the two provitamin forms of vitamin D. Required dietary allowance per day of vitamin D is in adults 10 milligram, that is 400 international units, whereas during pregnancy and lactation period RDA increases to 15 mg. So in special condition it will be more than the normal. This is about provitamin and RDA. Next we are going to discuss about the function of vitamin D in the body. Calcitriol plays an important role in bone formation and bone calcium metabolism. The few important functions of vitamin D is one, bone mineralization and formation. Vitamin D is required for proper mineralization of bone. They increase the number and activity of osteoblast, the bone forming cells. So the vitamin D is going to stimulate the mineralization, means the deposition of calcium in the bones, and deposition also involves the osteoblast activity in the bones. In the osteoblast of bones, calcitriol stimulates calcium uptake. So taking up of the calcium from the blood and taking that blood calcium and deposit in the bone. Bone consists of matrix of collagen with crystals of calcium and phosphate. So if you have studied bone and it related topics, in that you can come across these things. The calcium is going to get deposited to the bone by mineralization process. It involves vitamin D activity. Calcium and phosphate homeostasis. Vitamin D plays an important role in calcium and phosphate homeostasis. Calcium and phosphate together, they are in a pair and they are complement to each other, and wherever you can see calcium you can see phosphate, and hence the bone and teeth contains calcium and phosphate. Calcitriol is a hypercalcemic hormone. Hyper means increased, calcemic means calcium, emic means blood. So hypercalcemic hormones means which is going to increase the calcium level in the blood. The site of action are intestine, kidney and bones. These three locations, please keep in mind: intestine, kidney and bones, that we are going to discuss in detail one by one how it is involved and how they helpful in the calcium related metabolism. First one is intestine. Intestine. Intestine calcitriol increases the intestinal absorption of calcium and phosphate and thus increases blood calcium and phosphate level. The food that we eat which contains calcium, it end up with a small intestine. There it is undergoing absorption. In that process, calcitriol stimulates the absorption of calcium and phosphate in the small intestine to the blood. Action of calcitriol is similar to steroid hormone. It binds to receptor in the cytosol, and this complex is then transported to nucleus where it acts on DNA to stimulate the synthesis of calcium binding protein. The calcitriol is going to stimulate the DNA, and that is the part of the DNA where it is going to synthesize calcium binding protein, and as the name itself indicates, calcium binding protein, it is going to bind the calcium and increases the calcium absorption in the intestinal area. Next is the kidney. The calcium can be also lost by the kidney if it is not absorbed properly, and hence vitamin D is involved in the reabsorption of calcium in the kidney tubules. Calcium and phosphates, and hence calcitriol promotes the reabsorption of calcium and phosphate by renal tubules of kidney, and thus reducing excretion of calcium and phosphate. So if loss of calcium is going to be avoided by reabsorption, then the calcium retained in the body, and hence it is going to promote the calcium mineralization. The bone which contains calcium and phosphate, we should ensure that no much calcium is going to be lost and should be retained in the bone. Hence calcitriol may also promote bone resorption. Resorption means maintaining the calcium level without losing it, and calcium mobilization to raise the serum calcium and phosphate level. So in these three locations, the you can see for every of these location, intestine, kidney or bone, the next word is calcitriol. That means which involves calcium related metabolism, which is with the help of vitamin D. Next is the deficiency of vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency causes rickets in children and osteomalacia in adults. If the vitamin D is taken in less quantity as prescribed in the RDA, if you take less than that, it causes a deficiency. The deficiency is different in age groups. For example, rickets in the children, whereas osteomalacia in the adults. Rickets is caused due to deficiency of vitamin D in the children. Symptoms: the rickets is a disease of growing bone. The growing bones means in infants and children. You can see there is insufficient mineralization of new bones. New bones are not going to get mineralized properly. Bones become soft and pliable. That means easily to bend. So the softer bones means very susceptible for breaking or bending or fracture. This results in bow legs, knock knee joints, pigeon chest, and rickety rosary of ribs. So this wherever in the knee area, the bones will get affected. In the chest ribs, the bones will get affected in the form of pigeon chest, and the beaded form of the ribs can also be seen in the rickets. Next is osteomalacia. Osteomalacia is caused due to the deficiency of vitamin D in adults. Osteo means, as the name itself indicates, bone. So the osteomalacia which is seen in adults are having symptoms of insufficient mineralization of the bones, and bones are soft, easy to break, fragile. Bone pain and aches takes place frequently, and easy fracture of the bones is one of the condition of osteomalacia. This is about deficiency of vitamin D. We will continue in the next session.